This is Fieldsports Channel News. There's new hope in Scotland that a change in power sharing between the SNP and the Greens and a new SNP leader could benefit the rural community. According to the Countryside Alliance, the resignation of Scotland's First Minister Yusaf could mean an end to a government that forced through policy and legislation which ignored the needs of rural communities, including pointless regulation on hounds, gun dogs, grouse moors and the destruction of deer herds.
So the names in the running are Kate Forbes has been mentioned, John Swinney's been mentioned again, and some of these have a real affiliation with the Scottish countryside and those who work in rural Scotland. So potentially there could be some positives to take out of this. I think a real positive is the break with the Greens, with the Butte House agreement being dissolved. However, what we've got to make sure is that no new agreement is put in place to try to regain power, and that's something that we have to really seriously consider and remember.
Hounds from the Berwickshire, one of Scotland's leading hunts, have left for France to allow them to keep hunting. It's one of the results of the Scottish Government making hunting with hounds illegal in Scotland. Advised by aunties on what to ban, the Scottish Parliament voted in 2023 to pass a new Hunting with Dogs Scotland bill, 20 years after it passed a similar bill that it believes failed to stop fox hunting. The new law includes a ban on trail hunting, the pursuit of an animal scent laid by a human, although it allows hunting under licence. The Berwickshire has to vacate its kennels and has relocated the majority of hounds, around 10 couple. It'll become a drag hunt. The hounds it sent to France were surplus to requirement as a result of those changes. Hunt staff drove the hounds from Scotland to their new home, where they will go straight into action with a French hunt.
Apart from the obvious tragedy of the entire episode, there's a part of us that, whilst terribly sad, is happy that those hounds will continue to do what they were bred to do and continue to hunt in France. They're foxhounds. The clue's in the name. Vive la chasse!
Two new films about gamekeepers highlight the issues Scotland's countryside is facing. The Last Keeper premiered in London and Scotland. Made by American director Tom Opray, looks at Scottish sporting estates' battle for survival. You can see our story about it in the link below. The other short film, Gamekeeper Returns to Langham Moor, by Scotland's regional moorland groups, comes with a plea to politicians not to ignore the needs of people and wildlife. It features gamekeeper Jamie Smith returning to the famous Langham Moor 4 years after the start of a rewilding project created by a community buyout of the land. Here's the filmmaker, Kirk Norbury.
Taking gamekeepers out of the landscape can have on its moorlands and its ecosystem. And people need to be more aware of that. They need to see that, how that happens to not only wildlife, but what that does to rural communities. That's a message that's happening across Scotland at the moment. And with land reform on the horizon, we need politicians to really listen to gamekeepers more, because the skills that they have are invaluable for land management across Scotland.
Have you ever wondered what happens to your spent cartridges? The answer is they might end up being shredded and turned into park benches. Our film about Lincolnshire-based AgriCycle has more than 750,000 views. Others are doing it too. Friends Henry Harrison and Ed Medforth set up a business to recycle the plastic casings, and they've now processed more than 138 million of them. H&M Recycling, based in North Yorkshire, receives used cartridges from clay and regular shoots all over the UK. Their machinery removes the brass, shreds the plastic, and both are sent to be repurposed. The plastic has been used to make garden furniture and plastic drain pipes.
We know that a lot of the shoot grounds, they just send them to landfill. So we thought, let's try, see if we can provide a service and recycle the cartridges somehow.
A new falconry school is set to open in Dorset. Bobby King, aged just 22, is setting up the new school to train others how to fly and hunt with birds of prey. Bobby has taken teaching qualifications to pass on the skills she learned when she first started flying birds of prey at the age of 16. She has 17 birds of her own, ranging from barn owls to Harris hawks and kestrels. She does flying demonstrations at country shows, schools and care homes for the elderly. Her school will be open to anyone who owns a raptor and who wants to learn how to fly it and take care of it. Anglesea's protected population of red squirrels is under threat. The Red Squirrel Trust says there are now at least 10 grey squirrels that have established a colony on the Welsh island, leading to fears that decades of conservation work by local air gunners will be undone. The indigenous reds are vulnerable to squirrel pox, a fatal disease carried by non-native greys, which has largely wiped out the UK population. Anglesey is one of the few pockets of reds left. As well as shooting them, genetic testing is now underway on the greys to establish how the population has spread. The fishing world has seen 3 incredible captures across the globe this week. First, Naomi Turner caught the largest carp ever landed by an angler in UK waters with a 72-pound 12-ounce fish captured from Holme Fen Fishery in Cambridgeshire. Next, Darren Wrights hadn't had a bite for 14 hours during a catfish session in Essex when this monster took his bait. At 134 pounds, it's believed to be the largest fish caught on rod and line in freshwater in the UK, and it could become a new British record. And how about this fish from Patagonia? It's a Chinook salmon, estimated at 30 kilos, about 70 pounds. It's believed to be the biggest Chinook caught in South America. The fight to protect wapiti deer in New Zealand has taken a new turn. Introduced to New Zealand in the early 1900s, the wapiti is under threat after New Zealand's Department of Forest and Bird decided the deer should be completely removed from its national parks. Now the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation hopes that changing the status of the herd could help protect the animals. Hunters have been controlling these deer for generations.
We've had a couple more developments that have happened over the last few days. We have a legislation in New Zealand called Herds of Special Interest, and Herds of Special Interest are something that are supported by legislation in New Zealand. Now, there is not a herd of special interest in New Zealand, so for us to protect the wapiti, the scrap's going to go towards us pushing for the wapiti to become a herd of special interest. So that kind of takes them into a part of law that you can manage them for game, and that can be managed in national parks in New Zealand.
And finally, it's time to announce the winner of this Italian-made Fair Premier EM shotgun that we at Fieldsports Channel have been raffling throughout April. The gun is priced at £1,200 and the tickets cost a £5. We ran the raffle on the Givergy website, and halfway through the month, Stripe said it would stop taking payments because it's a shotgun. We made the last tickets free on the website, but you had to settle a bill for them, which we sent out. Despite the difficulties, we sold more than 200 tickets, and we are putting the funds raised towards Fieldsports News. And the winner is Peter Couch from Weston-super-Mare in Somerset. Peter, enjoy your prize. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.